there, and welcome to Instructor Video 11. It's a beautiful day today, so I thought I would take this outside in our little yard here, which is not landscaped at all, even though my husband is a landscaper. He's busy landscaping other lawns and gardens, etc. right now, but he'll get to ours eventually. And it's quite beautiful in the spring and summer, and I can't wait for it to be here. I can't wait for the leaves to come out on the trees, so I'm sure you're there too. And so I thought I'd take our online class outside today. So I want to just review a few things about the Pachakachas that I've seen so far and give you a little guidance on the Toulmin method of argument forum that's due this week for your online assignment. First of all, thank you for the groups who went yesterday. It was great to see the hard work that you put into your presentations, and kudos to you for going first. I know it's always nerve-wracking to do that, but you did it, you got through it, and I was overall very pleased with what I saw. I thought you guys did well, especially you really grasped the Pachakacha format and how to do that well, so that was good. The best presentations and that the groups that go next week might want to think about some of these pointers. Well, first of all, the groups that I did not get to meet with, section 30, I know we went all the way up to the end, so I didn't get to meet with your group on Tuesday, but if you'd like to meet with me via Skype or FaceTime, let me know. Just email me, and I'm happy to do that. I'm around for the next week, so even on the weekends, I'm happy to meet. When your group meets, just let me know. Okay, so the strongest presentations that I saw, and from both classes, basically a couple things. They outlined a clear problem with a space or place very clearly, and they stuck to that one problem. So those were really successful. Then they outlined a solution very clearly and stuck to just one solution or a few solid solutions to one problem. They didn't go all over the place with their solutions. They didn't talk about all the different kinds of problems with this space or place, but they really focused on something. So, for example, if you're thinking about doing, let's say, the Emporium, and there's several problems with the Emporium. Maybe the paint job, the clock that doesn't work. Some of the stores in there that you'd like to see, parking issues. There's lots of problems with spaces and places. It might be best to focus on one problem in that space or place and come up with an array of really good, solid solutions. Those make for better presentations. You very clearly, the best presenters really clearly researched the feasibility of the solution. So they gave the real costs, they looked into numbers, they asked people how much things cost, they thought about the real time it would take to do this, to implement the solution, the real human effort needed. They added details to show that they did the research. Also, they used really credible resources to support their solutions and to offer support for those solutions from research sources that were credible. The Pachakachas were organized and very clear, and the more rushed you were or the more nervous you were, that probably meant that you didn't really do your research or plan or practice enough, and that comes through in a presentation. The slides were easy to follow. Some of them were even funny or unique, and they matched nicely with what the person was saying. Some people even took their own photos, which is great because then you don't have to cite them, and also you can create what you want with that. And a space lends itself to photos. All you have to do is take your phone and go get some pictures. Best presentations also dressed for the part. You didn't have to dress up in any kind of costume per se, but at least you took yourself seriously and dressed like you were giving a presentation. Like I said, the best ones included quotes from credible research sources and results from surveys, which help support the solution or give evidence that this was definitely a problem, because let's say 80% of students say it's a problem in a survey they conducted, and that adds to your credibility. And the best quotes that they used were in support of a solution. So think about that. Also, it was clear that they practiced the timing and the speaking to the classmates. That was really important. And very, very important, the best presentations asked their fellow classmates to get involved and told them exactly how they could do that, how to get involved with the solution. They made the solution acceptable to your classmates, to college students, and made the college students want to be a part of the solution. So remember, this is your rhetorical audience. If you're presenting to them and you're not including them in the solution at all, it's not really relevant to them. So you're sort of speaking to an empty room of people who aren't going to really care that much about what you're saying. So you always have to consider your audience. So think about that. The best presentations did. The weaker presentations might have outlined a problem with a space, but maybe too many problems with that one space, and it got a little overwhelming. Plus, so many problems are hard to focus on in a 6-minute presentation, and they're hard to give weight, because if you have many problems, you need many more solutions. And the weaker presentations had so many problems with a particular space or place that the solutions were really overwhelming, and that made them not very clear, or they were undeveloped or sort of shallow. It's better to focus on one problem with the space and come up with really good, solid, and easy to follow solutions that you give step-by-step solutions for that involve the audience. Some of the solutions were not really well researched, so they were just kind of, this is what we think could work, but we didn't really look into it. Clearly, we just think it could work, but we didn't think through it. They didn't outline the real time, the real cost, the real human effort wasn't really made clear, and also counter arguments or weaknesses in the solutions were overlooked completely or not considered at all. So you want to think about what the critics would say to your solution and be prepared to respond to that or even talk about it in your presentation. And it's okay to say, that is a problem and we considered that and we'd have to work around that. And maybe here's a way we could. But you don't have to say, that's not a problem, or get frazzled when you know it's a problem. It's okay. There's no perfect solution, and you can say that. That shows that you're confident and you've done your work. And some of the counter arguments came up in the Q&A sessions afterwards, so be prepared to answer those. There was one group in particular who had some information that they had clearly researched that didn't show up until they answered a question, and it made the audience go, whoa, they know their stuff, because this wasn't in their presentation, but they were able to use that statistic when responding to a question from the audience, and that adds really to your credibility. Also, the weaker presentations did not ask fellow classmates to get involved or did not tell them exactly how they could do that. In fact, if there's something you can do right in the classroom to get your fellow students involved right there, take advantage of that. And let's say it's like to start a club, and you want to pass around a piece of paper and say, hey, if you're interested in this club, sign your name up and you give us your email and we'll get in touch with you. And it doesn't have to be real. It'd be cool if it was real, but you can say, this is just sort of part of our presentation. It's not real, but that's really taking advantage of Kairos, taking advantage of the opportune moment, the timing of your presentation, and the moment, and getting your audience involved. And you really need to do that for these. Okay, so be sure to review the grading rubric for the presentation, which I sent out last week or a couple days ago in an announcement on Sakai. You just click on that announcement on Sakai or go back to that announcement and you can find that grading rubric. Also, check out Instructor Video 10. Watch that again for some other pointers on how to put together a good presentation if you didn't watch that last week. So that's my advice moving forward. Okay, and I will get you guys your grades and comments back for the groups that went on Tuesday. I'll give them back this coming Tuesday. Yes, okay, so the Toulmin method of argumentation. So this is one particular kind of method of argumentation that helps you break down your arguments and to see if they're sound or not. Basically, they help you make any claim you're making in a project stronger. So, for example, you've got claims about your life and yourself in your memoir. You've got claims about another person in your profile and what their successes and challenges have been. you have claims about a particular issue that's important to a group of people in your investigative report, claims about why that's an important issue, how it's an important issue. And in your presentations, you are making claims about a problem, about a particular place, and claims about solutions. So anything you write basically is an argument, even though we may not call it an argumentative paper. Anytime you make a claim, you're saying, this is an argument I'm making, this is a point I'm trying to make. And when you make a claim, you need to have reasons to back it up, or grounds, or a why behind the claim to support the claim. And good reasons and good grounds are really key to making any kind of argument, any kind of claim stronger. Then there's this thing called a warrant, which is kind of the link, the unspoken link, or it's an implied link that's not often written about in your paper, but also you need to consider that warrant and see if it's strong. So there's a reading on Sakai under readings called the Toulmin method of argument or something like that. And I want you to look through that. In fact, you can have it in front of you while I talk right now if you'd like. That might help. So basically, you have to read through that and then do a forum post based on that and based on what I tell you in this online lecture. So basically, if I were to argue that you should watch these instructor videos, that's my claim. That's the point of my argument. You make many claims throughout all of your projects, in your memoir, your profile, like I was saying. You make you're making many arguments. But I would strengthen, so if I were to say, you should watch these videos, that's my claim. That's my argument. You need to watch them. Then I would strengthen my argument by giving you reasons, or a reason. So for example, I might say that, well, they always offer you some smart guidance on how to complete online assignments for the week, or they give you good guidance or intelligent guidance on writing or composing your projects. They also sometimes offer extra credit opportunities. So these are reasons that appeal to my credibility or my ethos as an instructor. You trust that the guidance I'm giving you, or the reason says that you should trust the guidance that I'm giving you. Another reason I might say is that I could scare you and say, you'll fail if you don't watch these videos. Or I might appeal to your emotions and say, in another way, and say, you'll get a glimpse of my very cute baby or my cute dog. And that, or I could say, I really worked hard on these, so please watch them. And all of those are reasons that appeal to your emotions or pathos. And so those are other reasons that you could give. Another type of reason would be an appeal to logos or logic. I could say something that like, I did a study and students who watched these videos were 90% more likely to get A's and B's on their projects, or to get an A in the final course grade. That's an appeal to logos or logic. So your reasons that support your claim have to be sound, they have to be researched, and they have to be related to your audience in some way, motivating to them. If I were to say that you should watch these videos because my friend Rachel said that you should, not a great reason. You probably don't know or care about Rachel or know who she is. Or if I give no reason, I just say, you need to watch these videos. That's a weak argument. So reasons are really important to have as part of your arguments. Then you need to think about the underlying or unstated warrant that connects the reason and the claim. That also needs to be sound and related to your audience. So the underlying or unstated warrant is the connection between the claim and the reasons. It's the since underlying those two things. So for example, if I were to say, you need to watch these videos because you get really smart guidance from me. Well, the underlying warrant is, since guidance on writing and assignments from the instructor is usually a good thing, or since my guidance is worthwhile and good, and since I'm an intelligent person and I know about writing, and you should pay attention to some of the pointers that I offer you. Those are the warrants underlying that reason and claim. If none of those were true for you, then, or you didn't really care, then my argument's not going to work and will likely not persuade you. So you have to think about those warrants. Or if I wasn't intelligent or I didn't know about writing, then the since would not work. So you have to consider the since underlying your grounds and reasons. Another warrant relates to the claim you should watch these videos because you'll fail if you don't. The warrant underlining that is since failing is bad and since you don't want to fail, and since you know that I can check if you watch them, which I can't, so that warrant wouldn't work. Or you should watch these videos, if I were to say you should watch these videos because you'll glimpse my baby or my dog. Since you care about seeing my baby or since you care about seeing my dog. If none of those work for you, then my argument's not going to work. So if the warrants are untrue or the audience doesn't care, then you need to come up with a different reason. Another type of warrant might be for the logos reason and claim. So if I said, 90% of students do better when they watch these videos, the underlying warrant there is since the study I did was credible, since you should trust the study, and since you care about getting good grades. Again, if that warrant is not true, or my study was false, or I made it up, which I did because I didn't do the study, or that doesn't motivate you, then your argument is going to be weak. So make sure that your claims are clearly stated, you have good solid reasons, good grounds to support them. Those grounds should appeal to either the logos, ethos, or pathos of the reader, and your unstated or underlying warrants have to be strong. The connection between the claim and the reason has to be strong in order for an argument to work. So any claim you make in any of your papers, you want to make sure you've got a supporting reason for it, and you've got a warrant that matters to your audience, and that is true. The forum assignment for this week asks you to consider one of your claims and one of the reasons that you're giving to support that claim. And then the warrant that connects them to see how strong or weak your argument is. And then your peers will respond to the type of claim, reason, and warrant you give, and will also suggest how you can strengthen that argument. So have fun with that, and hopefully it helps you write more better. Hopefully it helps you write better arguments and more stronger reasons and claims in your profiles, in your investigative reports, in your presentation next week, if you're going next week, and in your memoirs. And that's it. See you next week in our class. It's our second to last face-to-face class. We only have 2 more. And I'm looking forward to the final presentations. And yeah, enjoy the beautiful weather.